If you've never seen a woman in her 60s wearing not one but two pairs of sunglasses at once, one prescription tucked right under a set of blindingly huge, rhinestone-studded aviators standing on the sidewalk at 7:15 a.m., absolutely screaming at a roof well, you've never lived in my neighborhood. And you definitely haven't met Mrs. Higgins. Picture this. I'm standing in my driveway clutching a mug of coffee that's gone from hot to lukewarm in less than 3 minutes. Arizona sun will do that to you, watching the whole wild show play out. I haven't even taken a sip yet. The sky is that washed out, almost hostile blue, and the sun is already promising a day you'll remember on your utility bill. And here's Mrs. Higgins 3 inches past the property line, making sure she doesn't step on my grass, because she knows if she does, I'll hit the sprinklers. We've been playing that game for months. Jack, do you see this? Do you see what you're doing to the community? She yells, finger jabbing at my roof. I take a long, slow sip, probably too slow, honestly, but you learn to pace yourself. Morning. Mrs. Higgins, lovely day for a tan. Are you yelling at the clouds again, or is this about me specifically? She snaps back, pushing her sunglasses higher up her nose like she's arming herself. Don't get smart with me, young man. It's the panels, of course. Those hideous industrial glass monstrosities, as she calls them, up on my roof. I tried to walk my poodle Mittens past your house, and I was nearly blinded. It's like staring into the heart of a supernova. She actually says supernova. I kid you not. I glance down at Mittens. This dog looks like a dust bunny with a collar, and seems way more interested in sniffing the fire hydrant than the cosmic threat supposedly shining down from above. Mrs. Higgins, I tell her they're solar panels. High efficiency, they absorb light. If they reflected as much as you say, my electric bill wouldn't be zero. That's kind of the point. She does not care. She stamps her foot. I care about the aesthetic integrity of this neighborhood. I care about the retinas of pilots flying overhead. Do you want to cause a plane crash? Jack, is that it? She says this, by the way, while we're 50 miles from the nearest airport. If a pilot is using my roof to navigate, we've got bigger issues than HOA compliance. She huffs, threatens me with the board, and marches off. Mittens, ever loyal, follows. I watch them go sighing and glance back at my roof. Sleek, black, modern. Honestly, it's beautiful. It cost me 30 grand. Worth every penny to avoid the highway robbery that is our local summer electric rates. I think that's the end of it. Just another day, another Higgins meltdown. Turns out I'm dead wrong. 3 days later, there's a certified letter from the HOA. My mailman, Steve, hands it to me with this look like he's just delivered a court summons. Sorry, Jack. It's from you know who? Steve always calls the HOA the chaotic evil empire. Says he delivered one to the guy down the street for having a trash can visible from the moon. Inside, Sarah, my wife, is chopping veggies for dinner, the knife thunk-thunk-thunking in the background. I sit down, open the envelope, and pull out what can only be described as a novella. There are photos, drone shots. There's even a blurry picture of a bird, which I guess is evidence of something. It's a violation notice, I say, skimming through. It reads, unauthorized reflective surfaces. Article 14, Section B subsection 2, nuisance and glare. I pause. That's usually for people who install floodlights pointed directly into their neighbors' bedrooms. Keep reading, Sarah says, and stops chopping. The letter claims my panel's reflective index exceeds the community standard for matte finishes. Multiple complaints about blinding glare. Vehicular traffic endangered. We live on a cul-de-sac. The only vehicles are the Amazon van and Mrs. Higgins cruising for new things to get mad about. The letter orders me to remove the non-compliant structures within 14 days. The kicker. Failure to comply will result in a fine of $500 per day, retroactive to the date of installation. I do the math. That's 30 grand. Exactly the price of the system. Sarah's got her game face on. They can't do that. State law protects solar. Remember you checked? I did check. Arizona's Solar Rights Act says they can't unreasonably restrict solar energy unless it's a safety hazard or a nuisance. She's going for nuisance. She's saying I'm blinding people. Sarah just nods. Fight it. Go to the meeting tonight. Bring the specs. Embarrass her. I grin. Oh, I'm going to do more than that. I'm going to bury her in physics. The meeting's in the community center, a beige box with beige carpet and a faint scent of old coffee and despair. There's 20 people there, mostly retirees looking for something to complain about. Mrs. Higgins is at the front, flanked by Bob the treasurer, who appears to be napping with his eyes open, and Janice, the secretary, scribbling so furiously I'm surprised her pen hasn't burst into flames. They open the floor for new business. I stand right up, march to the front, and lay my violation notice and a stack of spec sheets on the table. I'm here to appeal the violation on my roof, I say. Mrs. Higgins gives me that tight fake smile. Ah, Jack, please keep it brief. We have mulch colors to discuss. I don't blink. Sure, here's the brief version you're lying. My panels don't glare. They're anti-reflective. They bounce back less than 2% of the light that hits them. Standard shingles like yours. Mrs. Higgins reflect more, especially when they're wet. I toss the data on the table. You want to ban my panels? You should probably ban your own Cadillac, too. Some folks chuckle. Mrs. Higgins stone cold. She pushes the papers away. Data sheets are nice in theory, Jack, but we live in the real world. I have sworn affidavits from 3 neighbors. Name them, I say. No. They wish to remain anonymous. Anonymous, I'm an accountant, not a mafia boss. She waves me off. The board's already voted. The panels are a nuisance. They're ugly. They look oily. They don't match the earth tones. She rattles off the bylaws. Everything needs to be uniform, non-reflective, consistent with the style. So that's it. I spent 30 grand going green, and now I'm being forced to tear it all down because someone with a second pair of sunglasses doesn't like how it looks. Janice pipes up, we have to protect the community. What if a kid riding a bike gets blinded and hits a tree? I can't help it. Unless the kid's hang gliding, I don't think that's going to be a problem. Mrs. Higgins bangs her gavel like she's presiding over a criminal trial. You have 10 days left, and don't think you can swap them for different panels. No glass, no shine. Roof must be dark matte and completely non-reflective. Do you understand? I stand there just taking it all in, the neighbors avoiding eye contact, Bob softly snoring, Mrs. Higgins practically vibrating with glee. I repeat back for the record dark. Matte, non-reflective. You don't care what material number. As long as it's dark and not shiny. Something clicks in my head. You ever hear that sound when you suddenly realize you can follow the rules to the letter and set the world on fire? That's what happened. I smile. Not a friendly smile. You got it, Mrs. Higgins. I'll take them down. You'll get exactly what you asked for, a roof so dark and matte it'll swallow the sunlight. You won't see a ray coming off my house. She sniffs satisfied. See that you do. Next item, unauthorized pink flamingos on lot 42. I leave, get in my truck, and don't go home. I start searching on my phone, not for roofers, but for industrial thermal control. I look up the stuff they use to melt snow off warehouses in the Arctic. I want a roof that doesn't just meet the rules. I want a roof that weaponizes them. Next morning, I'm dialing local contractors. Not shingle guys. I need someone who does custom metal. Somebody who doesn't ask too many questions. Third page of Google, I find Big Tony's Custom Metal. The reviews are colorful. Tony is a genius, sits right above Tony scared my cat. I call. Yeah, this is Tony, comes a voice that sounds like he's been gargling gravel since 1983. I tell him what I need. Black, dead black, industrial matte, eats sunlight for breakfast. Buddy, you put that up in Arizona, you're going to bake. I just say, that's the point. Tony laughs. Oh, you've got an HOA problem. You want to cook them. I want to comply, maliciously, I say. He says, I'm on my way. We'll find a black so deep it looks like a hole in the universe. He shows up all muscle and attitude binder full of samples. He flips to the back. Here's the nuclear option. Midnight matte industrial steel zero gloss. Designed for Minnesota blizzards. Here. It'll get to 180 by noon. I ask legal, totally. I check the bylaws. Metal is allowed as long as it's a neutral color. Black is neutral. We get to work. The solar panels come down painful. Yes, but necessary. Tony's crew moves fast and loud. Mrs. Higgins watches, arms crossed, triumphant. Finally coming to your senses, she calls. You win, I say. New roof tomorrow. Dark matte, no shine. She wrinkles her nose, as long as I can't see my face in it. Trust me, Mrs. Higgins, you won't see anything. It's going to absorb everything. Friday, the new roof goes up. I'm telling you, it's the blackest thing I've ever seen. It doesn't even look real. There's no reflection, just this dark mass sitting on my house like a villain's lair. Next morning is a scorcher. I step outside and nearly get knocked back by a wave of heat like opening an oven door. My driveway is shimmering. I wave to Dave, my neighbor across the street, who's sweating just looking at the place. Jack, is it me, or is it hotter over there? Global warming, Dave, I yell. Mrs. Higgins doesn't emerge until noon. By then, the heat radiating off my roof has turned her prized hydrangeas into wilted little ghosts. She walks into her yard garden hose in hand and stops dead. It's like she hit a wall of heat. She waters her plants, steam literally rises. She goes back inside, slamming the door. Monday, I get a note from Steve the mailman. Jack, not walking up your driveway anymore. My shoes are melting. Mail's at the curb. What did you do? The heat only gets worse. Mrs. Higgins's grass turns yellow. The hydrangeas toast. I see her out there poking the brown stem's fury written all over her face. A knock at my door. Guess who? What have you done? She screeches. It's 110 degrees in my backyard. My patio furniture melted. I put on my best innocent face. Mrs. Higgins, is my roof shiny? Number, is it light colored? No. Does it glare? No. The rules don't say anything about temperature. You asked for dark matte and non-reflective. Congratulations. She storms off, calls the cops. Officer Miller shows up, walks halfway up the drive, sweats through his uniform. Jack, is there a fire? Nope. Just the roof. All legal. Mrs. Higgins runs over begging for an arrest. Miller just grins. Hands me back my permit and tells Mrs. Higgins, ma'am, he's in full compliance. Maybe plant some cacti. She calls the fire department. Captain Rodriguez comes out with a thermal camera, takes one look and says, you could fry an egg on that, but it's safe. It's up to code. Don't touch it. Don't stand near it. Have a nice day. Now here's where karma really kicks in. A few days later, it's not just Mrs. Higgins who's mad. Dave, my nice neighbor, shows up. Jack, my AC, can't keep up. The plastic siding is warping. My kids are sleeping in the basement. The street is sticky. We're living in an oven because Higgins didn't like your solar panels. Turns out everyone's mad at her. Emergency meeting. The community center. AC is broken poetic justice. The room is packed. Everyone's sweating. Mrs. Higgins looks wilted like her hydrangeas. Dave shouts, fix Jack's roof. Another neighbor, you told him to make it black. Now my fence is melting. Mrs. Higgins looks around desperate. Jack, surely you agree this can't go on. I lean back. Actually, I'm getting used to it. It's cozy. Great for privacy. She surrenders. What will it take? I have a list. Of course I have a list. 1, the HOA pays for the new roof and for whatever I want put back up. 2, I reinstall my solar panels, same ones, and you sign a permanent variance. 3, you pay my neighbors for their damages. And 4, I want a formal apology in the newsletter written by you saying solar is good for the community. There's a pause, a collective breath. Mrs. Higgins nods, defeated. Fine. Just get that black roof off. Tony comes back laughing all the way. The metal comes down. The HOA cuts a big check. The solar panels go back up, shining beautifully in the sun. And Mrs. Higgins. 2 weeks later, a for sale sign pops up on her lawn. Word is, she's moving somewhere she can't see any more solar panels. The neighborhood cools down. Dave invites me for a BBQ. I sit on my porch, beer in hand, under the shade of my energy-generating roof, watching the evening sun glint off my panels straight onto Mrs. Higgins's for sale sign. Most satisfying glare I've ever seen. Satisfying glare. Later, I open the HOA newsletter. There's my apology right up front. Solar panels are permitted and encouraged. We apologize for any inconvenience caused. And you know what? Sometimes you really do have to burn the village to save it. Or at least turn your house into an oven until the village begs you to stop. Malicious compliance. It's not just a hobby. Around here, it's a science, and sometimes it's the only way to get a little justice. So here's what I'm wondering, if you're still with me. Where's the line? When does following the rules become a weapon, and who actually gets burned? Ever had to fight back like this, or been on the other side? I'd love to hear what would you have done. Share your stories. Let's see where you stand when the heat is on.